Hi everybody, this is Mr. Beckstrom, and today I want to take a look at a sample problem from section 3.3. This is constructing box plots and identifying the 5-number summary. And let's go ahead and get started here. So we're given the following ratings of males by females in an experiment involving speed dating. Looks like somebody got a 9.5, so somebody's going to do well in that speed dating service there. All right, and it says use the given data to construct a box plot and identify the 5-number summary. It looks like we have 20 values here. So I'm going to show you how to do this both by hand and a lot easier in your calculator. So the first part is that we're going to do this by hand. So what we need to do is we need to find the 5 values that are going to make the summary, and these are going to be the quarters. So it's going to be the Q1, the Q2, and the Q3, the quartiles that divide the set into the 4 groups, with roughly, a lot of times not exactly, but roughly 25% of the values into each one of the groups. And in order to do that, we'll need 5 values. Why 5 values when we're only getting 4 groups? It's because we have to have a first and a last value. So the first value is going to be our minimum value. That's going to be right here at 3. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little line here to show that's our first value. And our last value is going to be here at 9.5. So I'm going to go right between 9 and 10. Put a little line here. So that's my first and my last value. So if I come over here for my summary values, that's my first, and my last is going to be the 9.5. Now I have to find that Q1, Q2, and Q3. 9.5. And this is where I have to use this little formula here. And this is the locator, which is the L. And we're going to try to locate the value that splits this into the 25% quartiles. All right, so in order to do the first one, we're going to do it in the first 25%, which is, and I'm going to kind of do it, try to away from everything else. That's P25. That's the first 25 percentile. And the way we can do that is we can set up this equation here. We're going to use the L, which is the locator function. This will tell us once this is arranged in ascending order, which it already is. So if it wasn't, we would have to arrange that in ascending order. But we can use this little formula, and it says we take the K, which is the percent there, which is 25, and we're going to put that over 100. And then we're going to take that fraction there, and we're going to multiply it by n. That's the amount of values we have. So we're going to do that by n, which in this case is going to be 20. So this is going to be 1/4 times 20, which is 5. You can put that into your calculator as well. Or if you were to cross that out, you would leave 5 on the bottom, and 25 divided by 5 is also 5. So the tricky thing about this formula is that we're going to have 2 possibilities when we apply it. The first is when we get a whole number like this. And when we get a whole number, that's kind of the tricky solution. That means that we're going to go not to the 5th value, but we're going to go in the midpoint between the 5th and the next value. So when we get a whole number solution like that, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to look for the midpoint between this value here, the 5th value, and the next value. So what is the midpoint between 6.0 and 6.0? Well, it's obviously going to be 6.0, but if these numbers weren't the same, we could just add them up and divide by 2. But if you add up 6 plus 6 divided by 2, you're just going to get 6. So that's going to be our next value there, is 6.0. And this one here is going to represent our Q1. All right, that's going to represent roughly 25% of the values. And then we can do the P50, which represents approximately 50% of the values. So we'll do the same thing. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to do 50 over 100 times 20 which you can either put that into your calculator, or that's just 1/2 of 20, which is 10. So once again, I've got a whole number solution, and I didn't say to do what happens if you get a decimal solution. If you get a decimal solution, for example, if we were to get 4.8, we would just move up to the next whole number and use that number. So if we were to get 4.8, then we would round up to the next number. So we'd go to 5, and we just use the 5th number there. So 6 would be our number for the Q1. But if we get a whole number like 5, then we have to look between the 5th value and halfway between that and the 6th value there. But for this one, it's pretty nice because, well, I guess it's not nice. I guess we're getting all whole numbers, so we have to look between that many values and then the next number, the midpoint between those two values. So here we're going to get 10, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to look between, or look for the midpoint between this value and the next one. So that's going to be 7 plus 7 divided by 2, which is 14 divided by 2, which is just 7. It's the middle value between these 2 points. So that's going to be my Q2 over here. That's going to be equal to 14. So roughly 50% of the values are less than that point there. And let's go to the next one. Let's look at the P75, where we have roughly 75% of the points less than that. So that would be, to find the locator, we're going to do 75 over 100 times our n, which is our number of values. And here we're going to end up getting 15. You can double check that in your calculator. And so that means our Q3 is equal to the value that's between the 15th and the 16th number in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And luckily, we keep getting two adjacent numbers that are the same. So it's just going to be 7.5, 7.5. And that is our Q3 value. So here are our here is our 5 number summary. And let's go ahead and fill in and complete our box plot. So the Q1 is at 6.0, so it's right here. Our Q2 is at, oh wait, I wrote that one in wrong, didn't I? Yes, I did. That should have been 14 divided by 2, which is 7. Y'all, I'm doing a video, but y'all let me, I think I said it right, but I just wrote it down wrong. So that is 7 right there. So that is going to be our Q2. So this is Q1. Here is our Q2. And then our Q3 is at 7.5. So it's right here. So Q3 is right here. And then we're going to kind of connect our Q1 and our Q3, and that's pretty much it. Usually they'll kind of get rid of this over here, so I just use that to kind of keep track of the exact length. You don't need to, but so this would be it here. So as we can see from the box plot, most of our values, or like half of our values, are kind of bunched between 6 and 7.5 there. So kind of a nice dense area of values right there in the middle. All right, and I think, oh, I wanted to show you how to do this in the calculator as well. All right, so go in here. What you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to hit Stat. You're going to go to Edit. You're going to go to your L1 list, and I've already put all these values in here to save time, but you basically just put them in and hit Enter until you put in all 20 values. And then you're going to hit Stat. You're going to go over to Calculate. You're going to hit Enter, and you're going to make sure that you're on your list that you just put the values in. In this case, it's L1. If it was L2, I'd hit the second key in the L2, because you notice that the L2 is in blue there. Keep hitting Enter, calculate that, and notice that the only of these 5 summary values that we need to calculate are the Q1, the Q2, and the Q3. And the Q2 happens to be the same as the median. So if we just come down here, we notice that the Q1 is 6, just like ours. The median, which is the same as the Q2, is 7, and the Q3 is 7.5. And then remember, the first value and the last value are just the minimum value and the maximum value. All right, now let's go ahead and put that box plot in our calculator. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to hit our stat plot up here. So that's in blue, so I have to do the second key first. So second, y equals, brings up the stat plot. I want to make sure that this one is on. So I'm going to hit enter here. If it's in the off position, I'm going to go to on and hit enter. And then I'm going to change it to the one that looks like the box plot there, which is the fourth one here. Both the fourth and the fifth one both look like box plots, but it's the first one that looks like a box plot, which is usually the fourth one there. And that's pretty much it for that one. So now that we've got the data there, make sure that we're using the correct list, which is our L1. And now we're just going to go to zoom and tell us how we want to zoom in on this graph. And since we're doing those stats, those stat plot, we're going to use the 9. So hit number 9 for this at. And there it is. I have this extra point over there that I don't know where that's coming from. Let me see if that's in my y equals somewhere. I don't see it, but do I have another plot on? Oh, I have, look, my number 5 plot is on. Maybe that's my problem. All right, so, but that's what it should look like there. And if you have any questions, let me know. And I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks, and good night.